Right. And I think if you share that on Facebook, yes, I think it's fine. I think this is better because if you share the. You can. Four people are watching already. Maybe just turn your volume.
Are we allowed, starting with seat people? Sure, I think because of coronavirus, maybe people want to get outside. Right, like we have the law. Yeah.
I mean, like my chicken. I would love to.
We are live. We are live.
Good. Good. Promo. We are going to know here. Oh, what a great idea. And a room at the office.
Yeah.
So we got books, trying out the music. So that's just needed kind of like change in scale. So good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm leaving. Good. We are January 26th, 27th. So I'm going when it gets closer, I'm going to just say, here are the days.
Is this not? All right. We're trying to keep it 6 feet. So you can slide over this way, I'll slide this way. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Jordan family. How are y'all doing?
Let me in my club.
And y'all are right there, Scott. I kept the same but if you want to scoot around or whatever, you feel Right. We got We did a I'm leaving there. Yeah, then we're gonna go on standby.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sit there for this stuff. And Steve, Eliza's not coming, so.
Yeah.
The only thing is.
Yes, sir.
Your dad did mine.
Well, here's one. He's a.
I know.
And what's that? When we had and we have all kinds of bands.
I think it would be great for us to go.
We had this whole
This was the.
we don't have enough six left, enough street houses. Since you, as you say, your street's so nice.
Right. Yeah, certainly.
This is a historic, yeah.
It might have been,
This is a historic.
Right. I have to find a place. Hello, our viewers out there. And hello to everyone in here. I'm going to stand back a little bit so I'm in the frame. My name is Kristen Cobb. For those of you that are tuned in live to this wonderful chamber music afternoon here at the Art Center of Kershaw County. Thank you for being with us. And thank you to all of you here. We have a very small group of our dedicated sponsors that have been with us from the very beginning with our chamber music sponsorships, and we appreciate every single one of you for not only your continued support, but for being here today. So a round of applause for all of y'all. During these difficult times, it's hard to find some bright spots, but this is a bright spot. And the music you are going to hear this afternoon is going to take your breath away and give you some hope, and then as we embrace the future. So I appreciate you all being here. We appreciate Claire Bryant's vision as she comes to the Art Center and shares her talent with us. I'm keeping my remarks brief, which those of you that know me know that's very difficult, and I would love to thank all of you individually, but I know folks out there are waiting to hear the music, and I want you guys to enjoy as well. It's a beautiful afternoon. Welcome, welcome, enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, our dear friend and wonderful supporter, the lovely, talented Claire Bryant and friends. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone who is tuning in with us on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Claire Bryant, and I play the cello, and this is Josh Edwards, who plays the guitar. I am back home in Camden, and Josh is from down the road in Branchville, South Carolina, and we've been having a little debate about which one is the oldest inland city. Is it Orangeburg or is it Camden? So I think we're outnumbered in this room. But we thank you all for being here today. We're going to go ahead and get set up and start off with some music. As we all know, we haven't been able to live our normal lives, but I've been very lucky to have a pandemic duo partner. And Josh has gotten me back into my love for folk music and Americana music. So we're going to share a couple of wonderful folk tunes straight up. But we're going to start with one that was actually, everything that you hear today in our set for cello and guitar has been specially arranged for this concert today. So this is the premiere of many arrangements, and we're going to start off with an original tune. Would you like to tell us about it?
Sure. This is one that I composed, I don't know, maybe a year ago, and Claire and I worked it up for today. It's the first time I've ever played it in front of anybody. and it's called Earl's March.
Thank you so much. I thought since we are sort of in a little living room here, and since we're getting to transport ourselves into your living room, I thought maybe we could just have a little fireside chat here and talk about sort of the influences of your musicianship and the next two pieces coming up that we're going to play as sort of a medley.
Sure. These next two are American composed tunes. They're kind of in the style of traditional American folk tunes, but they're by two living artists. The first one, some of you all may have heard before, it's called Shokin Farewell. And it's a violin tune written by J. Ungar, who's still living. He's in upstate New York. And we're going to do a medley with that into a song by a Georgia artist, a man named Norman Blake, who's a guitar player, multi-instrumentalist, but his wife is a cellist. And he's my favorite artist. And in my opinion, he's the greatest living American folk artist. And so we're going to medley into one of his tunes. The namesake of the program today. It's called Fields of November.
Yes. And today, Josh informed me and reminded me that today is Saint Cecilia's Day, which is Saint Cecilia was a saint of music. So, and he's actually debuting this new guitar that he got, and he decided to name it Cecilia in honor. Great. So this is a Chopin farewell, medleyed into Fields of November. J. Ungar and Norman Boyd. So nice to share that beautiful music together. So now we're going to venture back in time across the sea. We're going to go to Spain. Now we're going to spend the rest of the program in Europe, but really mainly Paris. because the next three composers really worked and lived and found their musical voices in Paris. And actually, this composer was really unknown to me, and Josh also introduced me to him, and we actually watched this amazing documentary that we'll tell you about his life. He had kind of a sad story, a sad demise. His name is Enrique Granados, a Spanish composer, and would you like to tell us a little bit about Enrique Granados?
Sure, he was a pianist, but his music has become standard in the classical guitar repertoire. One of the most famous guitarists, his name was Andres Segovia, and he transposed a lot of Granados' piano music for the guitar. And we arranged it for guitar and cello for today, but Enrique Granados, he was a turn of the 20th century figure, Spanish, from Barcelona. His music is sort of melancholy, and his most famous pieces are his Spanish dances, and we're going to do two of his Spanish dances today. And because they are based on Spanish traditional music, they are really well suited for the guitar, which is Spain's instrument. But he was well known in his day. He died tragically in World War I, traveling back from New York City, where he had just debuted one of his operas. And his ferry boat from England to France was torpedoed by a U-boat and sunk. He died in the English Channel within sight of land, within sight of France. And he was sort of at the height of his career at that time. So it's a tragic story.
Yeah, and so we're going to play two of his dances. The first one is Andaluza, and the second one is called Oriental. And so you get a lot of influence of other cultures in music around this time, because people were getting to know other parts of the world. And the third piece that we're going to play, we're going to do a little set of three Spanish pieces, is by the great cellist Pablo Casals, and who was actually really good friends with Granados. We learned in this documentary, which you can find for free right now on the Spanish Embassy in the United States, their website. Highly recommend it. Beautiful documentary about his life, but also very artfully done, and a lot of music in it. And so Pablo Casals was kind of Granados was his mentor and convinced him to move from Spain to Paris. And, who knows how his career might have been different had he not made that move. So we will start with Andaluza, then Oriental, and then finish with the Casals Song of the Birds.
And Andalusia is named for southern Spain, which is the center of the Spanish guitar universe. So it's named for that region of Spain.
And I'm going to invite Ari Streisfeld to come join me for the second half of the program. We'll take a quick little reset. Here's Ari Streisfeld. Come on in. Come on down. For those who were able to tune into the last live stream at the Arts Center, we was lucky enough to be joined by Ari and our other colleague at the University of South Carolina, Philip Bush. We performed the Archduke Piano Trio, and it's just been really nice to be able to safely make some music together again. And I just want to thank all of you for tuning in on the live stream. This means so much to us that you're here. And we want to thank the sponsors again who are here in the room. We are able to invite a few people safely. And this is just really an honor and privilege for us to be able to play some music and share some music with all of you today. So we are going to move on to France, but there is quite a connection with Granados and Ravel as well, because they were both students together at the Paris Conservatory. So they knew each other, and we don't know quite how much they knew each other, but this is all in the same time. But Granados, his very tragic death was in 1916, and this was written in 1920, 100 years ago, in another pandemic, during another time of global pandemic, the Spanish influenza. So this is a pandemic tune, if you will, and it's 4 movements long, and it is written for the violin and cello, which at the time was kind of a rare instrumentation. And this is after World War I, the pandemic was still happening. Claude Debussy, a real hero of French music, had just died a couple of years before. So actually the first movement was written for a commemorative concert of Debussy. And then Ravel decided to expand it into a larger work. But Ravel really is playing with the idea of dissonance and consonance in this piece. And so you're going to hear a lot, even right from the very beginning, you're going to hear this motive, this musical idea that really repeats itself all throughout the piece. Do you want to play just a minute of that so they can hear it? And if we zoom in a little bit closer, what Ravel is doing is he's playing with this motive, which sounds fairly simple, and it's sort of cyclic, and it's just kind of repeats and kind of gets you in this meditative mode. He actually is playing with two different modes, which is a musical term for this idea of kind of a combination of notes that create a musical flavor, if you will. So we have the first mode that he plays with is the minor mode going up, which is, sounds sad or maybe a little bit sour if you were going to taste it. And then we have the major mode coming down, which is a little bit happier and sweeter. And then when I have it, he actually does.
You can hear it this way too. He doesn't do that, but you can hear how they're very different flavors.
Yes, and then when I have it, I actually go up in major and down in minor. So he's kind of playing with this, what we call in music, modal mixture. But just imagine you're a chef in a kitchen and you're taking a sweet flavor and a sour flavor or whatever they might be, these two contrasting flavors, and you're sort of mixing them together. So that's what Ravel does. This little earworm literally is everywhere in the piece, and sometimes he hides it. It's like sort of the Where's Waldo. Sometimes you might hear, and he will hear it throughout all of the movements. Sometimes it'll be split between the two voices, could have a different articulation, could be in a different dynamic, like it could be louder, many things. So listen out for the little motive of the Ravel. So 4 movements, and anything else you'd like to say about it?
You got it.
It's kind of a fun piece. Well, the other thing that I will say about it is Ravel really explores the virtuosity of both instruments. So you're going to see us playing many different techniques. A lot of pizzicato, like the guitar, bouncing of the bow. He puts both instruments to the test. It's a real workout.
I do have one more thing
Yeah,
that they can listen for. Another aspect of this piece that Ravel was highly influenced by, or seemingly by, Hungarian music at the time. Another really famous work by Ravel, and probably more famous than the Sonata for Violin and Cello, that Ravel wrote around the same time, it actually was premiered just a little bit after this work, is a work for violin and either orchestra or violin and piano called Zigan, which is Ravel's take on Hungarian gypsy music. And the Zigan starts this way, solo violin. So listen for that. He quotes it in this piece.
All right. Should we tune?
Sure, that's a good idea.
Tuning break. Very happy to have so many of you online. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I just want to again thank the sponsors today, and the board of directors here at the Arts Center of Kershaw County for making this possible to have live music even during a pandemic. We're doing it as safely and as the best that we can. It's so important to support the arts. So wherever your arts community is, please support the arts, support artists. And I want to give a special shout out to Stephanie Keel, who this would not have happened without Stephanie Keel, who's basically just, had a real vision for what these intimate sort of salon concerts could be like, both here at the Douglas Reed House, but also in the comfort of your own home. So thank you, Stephanie, for all of the work that you put into this. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Ari. Thank you, Josh. It's been a pleasure to be with you today, and we'll see you next time. Stay safe, everyone. You want to do that? And while we're ending the live stream, we